Commemoration of the 9th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, we're here to burn copies of the 9/11 Commission Report. And I brought to start the fire a little jar of, I don't know, it's about 6 or 8 ounces of kerosene. Well, we're going to burn the Commission Report on a barbecue which is made of steel, and I'm hoping that the barbecue doesn't globally collapse, so stay tuned and make sure, wish us luck. We're using the most vile, dangerous substance ever known to man, aside from maybe a box cutter, which is pretty much single-handedly destroyed our entire democratic way of life. I mean, there is no republic anymore thanks to the almighty box cutter and the power of Allah and their secret weapon, kerosene.
That this is actually going to come back to
We have James, you brought the lighter.
Recording now? Hey, I think this thing's going to burn really well because it's full of holes.
Is that right?
What conspiracy theory?
What we're doing is we're burning a book that's full of more lies than the Quran, more lies than the Bible, more lies. I mean, it's one of those things because, you know, people want to point fingers at religious groups that want to point fingers when we should point the fingers at this book that put out the lies in the first place, that got people hating each other. That's why we're setting fire to this book. This book needs to be called out for the lies that it truly is. The 9/11 Commission Report. It was a lie, and even the people that were involved with this book say that they were stonewalled, that they weren't given enough information, and that they too were very, very unhappy about how this book came out. So this is the book to burn.
Hamilton and Thomas Dean said it was a half-baked
And omissions. Lie by omission. That's how it's done. They leave out Sybil Evans' testimony. They leave out the critical facts, Clyde, that they don't want us to even know about.
I know that. They left all those facts out, and they continue to leave the facts out, and we're going to send a message to those guys that want to burn the Quran, and those guys want to burn, you know, the flag. Both Muslims and Christians and Jews need to know this book was the book that started the lies in the first place, and this book is the book that needs to be taken away. And everybody knows this, including those who are involved with this book. They say that this book was a lie.
New investigation. I think we have to immediately recognize that this is a PR stunt, and burning books, any kind of book, is ridiculous. But that's, I think, this reaction to what we've seen in the media is this hysteria. And they use these things to keep us in our divisions. You're left and I'm black, and you're white and liberal and Democrat and Christian, and all those things keep us fighting amongst ourselves. And we never look at who's causing these problems. And I feel we're all being so geared into tearing each other apart that we're never going to look up and see these folks who are really causing these problems. So again, I think using this hysteria in the media right now, we're basically trying to monkey wrench this system and ride this media hysteria and bring it back to the blank check that's led to everything that we've seen for the last 9 years.
And then we've got to look at Philip Zelikow and how he co-wrote a book with Condoleezza Rice several years ago before this book was even authored. It's not an independent investigation. From Thomas Hamilton to the other individuals involved in this investigation to Philip Zelikow. Not only was 9/11 an inside job, this whole investigation was controlled from the inside out. The Bush family controlling those that are even on that particular panel.
Another thing that I want to say too is that, you know, even though we all believe in some way, shape, or form that 9/11 was an inside job, you take at people like Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin, they look at this as an inside joke. $275 to see Glenn Beck in Alaska and drink beer on the day at 9/11 when people died. You know, they tell me to have a moment of silence. I'm not going to have a moment of silence anymore. I'm speaking out for those that died on that day.
Right on, bro.
We talk about injustice and tyranny and rights being taken away. There is no reason to be silent. There's no reason to bow your head. It's every reason to talk about this, and the lies that are being spun. That's what needs to be done.
Woo! And it goes on and on and on.
I want people to know that 9/11 is a lesson to be learned, not something to celebrate or keep holy. It's something that we need to learn from. And I hope we do. I hope we learn from this. I hope we understand what it all means. And today we are burning and taking out and showing our utter disdain for lies. And we're not harming anybody. We're not harming any religious beliefs. Maybe we're tapping into people's political beliefs, but you know what? Political beliefs do nothing now because we've all been leveled to one level. And if we end up fighting amongst each other, we will all be equal. You know where the equality will be? In the graveyard. Do you want that? Do you want to be equal in the graveyard? Because all you need is 6 feet of dirt to make everyone equal. All you need is one big nuclear bomb to turn everybody into charcoal. And charcoal's equal. Charcoal's fair. And that's where they see it. They see a scorched earth policy as policy for the new century. And that's not what I believe in.
Let's go back to the book for a second, okay? I mean, this is the biggest farce in American history, or one of the biggest farces. I mean, think about it. More money was spent on investigating Bill Clinton's stains on a little blue or red dress than the money that was spent on this. I mean, what's more important to us as a people? What? I mean...
We're human, it should be our fault.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And again, I think we want folks to know that this is a silly PR stunt, but we want to use the hysteria to kind of bring folks back around to seeing what we're really talking about here. Clyde, I think you mentioned, most of the commissioners have all admitted on the record that they were underfunded. They felt like they were being stonewalled by the Pentagon. They weren't getting at the truth. Max Cleland called it a quote-unquote national disgrace. So if they don't believe it, why should we?
Here we are, September 11th, 2010, and I'm here with James Evan Pilato of MediaMonarchy.com, and I'm just curious, man, would you care to elaborate as to why you had this wonderful idea to barbecue the 9/11 Commission report?
Well, I first have to say, and I have to put this out, I said it I think on the site and on the show, that I got the idea from a website called KennySideshow.blogspot.com.
Okay.
He had the idea not of necessarily doing a PR stunt like we did. Mm-hmm. It was just, I think, a Facebook comment or some simple posting that said, hey, with all this
so he's a talker and you're a doer, yeah.
With all this talk of book burning, we should probably burn the 9/11 Commission report. And I saw it, I was like, you know what?
Eureka!
That's a great idea. We could use, and hopefully it kind of worked out that way, we can use the media hysteria. So I immediately wrote Alex and Clyde and said, hey, I have a harebrained scheme. Let's burn the 9/11 Commission report and try and get folks to come out and make it kind of a PR stunt. Clyde wrote up the press release. We sent it out to a bunch of different places. I tried to, sort of tweet and Facebook and try and spread the word to folks about it. And I think even some folks who follow the site heard about it that way.
I sent out a few press releases.
So I think that's what got folks to come out. And the whole idea is basically to sort of redirect the media hysteria back to the pertinent things that matter.
Well played, sir. Or well played.
Because
yes.
they're basically using it to divide and conquer.
Yes.
The left and the right and it keeps us in this kind of fake political paradigm. Whether you're a vegetarian,
I've heard you use the term football issue quite a few times.
Football issue. We love to all fight about gay marriage or medical marijuana or any of these things that ultimately all come down to personal liberties and personal choices. That whatever consenting adults want to do to and with themselves is their choice, and that's what America is about. So this media hysteria about burning the Quran is just another kind of cultural football issue that we can all get really aggravated about, and we love having something to get angry about, and people love to have something to bandwagon on. So I just basically seized upon the idea of trying to pull this off to kind of what Jello Biafra would call monkey wrenching the New World Order, to get in and kind of misdirect this media meme hysteria back to something that's pertinent, and especially for the day, for the anniversary.
Cool. Well, and now I'd like to take a moment to film the foot that just pounded the fleshy nutsack of the New World Order. Here, shake it a little bit. There you go. Nice. Thanks, James.